Ellen is my partner in crime. We do a lot of orientations together, but we normally bring our booklets and things like that with us, and then it's much easier to show and give examples to the students to help them understand how the insurance works, how they're going to pay, what is coming out of the student's pocket, if anything that comes out of the student's pocket. Dental is a little bit more different because within their member benefit guideline, they actually have a list of charges. What is good about the dental part of it is Campus Smiles Dental is right underneath Student Health in the Student Wellness Building. And they have an agreement with Bright Smiles, who is our dental carrier, on the preset charges. So any services that are done at Campus Smiles comes out of a budget that's already preset for the student. Students will get students that sign up for dental will get a $2,000 budget, and all their service work are coming out of that $2,000 budget. So nothing comes out of the student's pocket. The only time it would come out of the student's pocket is either A, if they run out of the budget, or B, if they see a dentist outside of the Campus Smiles network. They're not limited to any network. They can go see any dentist. But if the dentist charge is higher than what the preset budget amount is, as far as we'll just say a cleaning, for example, is $90. If a dentist outside of Campus Smiles charges $150, then a student would be responsible for the remaining balance from the $90 to the $150. So it's much more laid out, so you know exactly what the cost would be if you would actually go to Campus Smiles compared to Blue Cross Blue Shield. With medical, it becomes a little bit more difficult and it needs a little bit more explanation.
Thank you so much, Calvin. And while the questions are continuing to come in, Ellen, I would love for you to just take a second to talk a little bit more about immunizations. You mentioned the piece about June 15th. That's a week away. So for folks who are like, oh my goodness, even though you said 30 days into the semester, can you just talk about what the process of getting immunizations approved looks like for students?
Sure. So the process for students is that we ask that you go into your Student Health Gateway or onto the Student Health website and download the immunization form that is required for all new students. And on this form, you will see all the vaccines that are required, and also a TB screening questionnaire that is required for all incoming students. We ask that you take that form to your provider's office, have them complete and sign it, and then you log into your Student Health Gateway, you enter the dates of your vaccines, and then you upload that immunization document into your gateway. Then our staff uses that document that you have uploaded to verify the dates that you have entered into your Student Health Gateway. And by this process, you're going to have a complete record with us of your student immunizations, of your vaccines. And we use this data, obviously, to report to the state that everyone here is up to compliance. The deadline is June 15th. We ask that everybody get their records submitted by them, but it does take our staff several weeks to get through all of the vaccine records that we receive. So that is why we put the deadline of June 15th, so that we can get everything processed by the time you guys all arrive here in August. The deadline, the hard stop deadline for when you can stay in class without the immunizations being completed is that 30th day of class. But if we don't receive your information until that day, then we're not going to be able to process it, and they're going to pull you out of class before that. There have been a few glitches in the system we've been hearing about with the Hep B vaccine, and we are working with IT on that. I think the big thing to notice is that when you update your immunization records and when you put the dates in, none of the statuses will change to compliant until our staff has reviewed them. And again, this could take really between 2 to 4 weeks to happen. So once you upload your information and you put your dates in, you're not going to see a change in the status. It's either going to read not satisfied or it's going to read awaiting review. So we just ask everybody be patient with us. Once our staff reviews your records, you're going to get a secure message on that same student health portal, letting you know whether you've met compliance or if there's anything else you need to do from your end.
Perfect. Thank you, Ellen. We've got some questions coming in here, but I do want to give Lisa, Amanda, and Lindsay a chance to just say some pieces here. The questions pile up. So Lisa, I want to come to you. You've been at CAPS for almost a year, it sounds like. I would love to hear from you and for you to share with our students what have been some of the most exciting changes of things that have happened at CAPS. And what are you really looking forward to over the course of the next year?
Thanks, Jordan. I think that the biggest change that we're making at CAPS is that the process for students to come in and get services should be much easier and streamlined than it's been in the past. And we'll have much longer hours. So students, I don't know exactly yet what they're going to be, but we'll have evening hours a couple of nights a week, and students will be able to walk in basically all day long. That first appointment is a really quick appointment. You'll meet with a clinician who will do an evaluation, have a conversation with you about what might be your next best steps, and make an individualized plan with you. And so I think that's really the biggest change that we have coming up. And I'm really excited about it because I think it's going to make access to mental health services much, much easier for students. And anything that we can do to support student mental health is where we want to be. So we're working really hard on that over the summer. There's a million little pieces behind the scenes that are boring and I won't tell you guys about, but mostly we're looking for students to be able to have easy access to mental health care. We also have telehealth that's available to all Duke students, and it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So students who have crazy long labs or are working as well, or those kinds of things, will be able to also get services nights and weekends and that kind of thing. And so we will continue to have telehealth for students as well.
Thank you. That is one of the things about Zoom that has been a really nice pivot in availability, to be able to connect with folks virtually for those kind of appointments. So thank you, Lisa. Lindsay, I feel like the team in DuWell probably does more programs than any other unit on campus. I feel like I have like 4 or 5 programs a day. I know you mentioned Koru. I know you mentioned some of the other classes. Can you just share for incoming students and their families, what are some awesome things that you all offer to kind of help them be resilient as they build their wellness here on campus?
Yeah, good question, Jordan. Yeah, so a big part of the reason that we offer so many programs is to build community, and with the recognition that not everyone likes to do the same things. So I'll tell you a little bit about some of our programs and kind of why they matter and why they're set up this way. So we have events like paint night, knitting group, yoga, Tai Chi. Most of these events happen in the wellness center. Some of them happen maybe in the gardens. We'll do meditation walks, maybe in the art annex. And we think this is important to student wellness because it introduces you to spaces and helps you understand that you can bring your wellness in all of the spaces that you're occupying in different ways, right? We also know from student feedback that when you're looking to give yourself a little self-care, maybe that looks like sitting in a knitting circle and not really saying something to someone else, but just being there in community. Maybe it's a way for you to meet friends. A lot of our students like to go to paint night, bring a couple of people. We often have music playing, so it's that more social connection. So each of our events is really created with this in mind. So we share these events on our wellness page on Instagram at Duke Wellness, in our Wellness Wednesday newsletter. So be sure to look out for those. And we update them every semester. So we're not always offering the same thing. We try to keep it really robust.
And for those who may be wondering, where can they get the newsletter? Focus on the newsletter that's coming out this summer from the Office of New Student Family Programs to get you set for the start of your semester. And then I promise you, your first day here, your first week, you will get that Wellness Wednesday newsletter. I get it, and I always look at it. It's very helpful and very informative. So, Amanda, people often may think about DukeReach as kind of a catch-all service to provide support for students, but can you give some details about the work you all do to make sure students have a quality experience here at Duke?
Yeah, sure. We do support kind of all kinds of things. And often when people have questions and they don't know where to turn, they come to our office and we're happy to find answers for you no matter what is going on. I think most of the students that we see are dealing with potentially like a mental health concern, or some sort of like adjustment. The adjustment to college is a lot and can be overwhelming. So we can talk through things like making that transition. If students are struggling in classes, we can get you connected with your academic advisor, academic dean. When you're living on campus, we can connect you with your resident assistants or resident director. Really all kinds of things, no matter what's going on. We are kind of that catch-all place. So if you're overwhelmed or stressed, you can come to us and we'll make sure you're connected.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. And there is a question here that we do want to answer live. And Ellen, is a question for you. A lot of the questions coming in are about immunizations because they're obviously mission critical. So can you take this one, Ellen? It's about the dates and the websites and things that are required for dates. Can you just give some context to that particular question? It sounds like it's simpler to enter the dates on the website, but each shot requires a specific type of shot in the given date. Do you see that first question there, Ellen? Yep. And you're on mute too, Ellen, just so you.
Well, that's not helpful. Okay, sorry about that. So when you get your form back from your provider that has the vaccines written on it, you can see that they'll have a vaccine, for instance, that just says Hep B on your immunization form. So that will match with one of the requirements that shows up on your gateway, and you can just enter the date of that vaccine. It's okay if you don't know the specific brand of the vaccine. We just ask that you put in the dates of those vaccines, of, for instance, your Tdap and your MMR. That helps our staff when we go to verify the dates. It just makes the process go a little bit more smoothly for everyone. Do not worry if you make a mistake. When we go through and process every record, we make sure that the dates are correct. So if you put something in incorrectly, it's okay. We're going to fix it on our end.
Awesome, Ellen. Just another quick question for you here. This person says they recently got their immunization record from their doctor, but they only signed the immunization requirement form. Should the particular student or family member fill out the information with the record as a reference and upload it, or should they try to get the signature for the immunization record?
If I'm understanding the question right, if they have signed the Duke mandatory immunization form, they can upload that form. We don't have to have the original records that go along with it. And I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question, but as long as we have the form that has the physician's signature on it, we're fine.
Great. This is another quick one about deadlines, Ellen. So it says, should I submit the immunization information by June 15th? And if any issues come up, they'll be notified in a few weeks. Or if the issues come up with that particular conflict with housing once they get to campus, like when should they submit it, depending on? Yeah.
Please submit your records as soon as you can. Generally, in the past, we have withheld dorm keys until you've been able to complete your immunization process, but that does not happen until you arrive at campus. And we always have an opportunity for you to get those vaccines the day of move-in. So do not feel like you have to have all the vaccines done by June 15th. We just ask that your records be submitted by then so that we can get them all processed by move-in day. Your housing assignment will not be pending on your immunization compliance in any way.
Great. And Ellen is right. What we try to do on move-in day is try to have places and opportunities for students to get the vaccines that they need so that we can get you moved in and settled. So she's right about that. So thank you, Ellen. Lindsay, a question for you. Wait a minute. It's asking us to screen share a video example of how they can upload the forms to the Duke Wellness portal. Yep. So what we can do, sorry, I thought it was a Duke Wellness question. I got excited, Lindsay. It's actually an immunization question. What we can do is for that person who submitted that question, I'm actually going to type a response. If you will send me a direct email, we will get that for you so you can see a way to walk through that. So that's what we'll do here. All right. While we wait for the next couple of questions to come in, I would love for Calvin, I know that you've had a chance to share some of the key pieces with insurance. I know we talked about the pieces around dental insurance and the pieces around medical insurance. Can you talk to us about some of the general questions that your team tends to get and what are the answers to those questions?
The biggest question that I know that we get is how much does something cost? Which is the hardest question to answer because it requires procedure codes. It also requires, if it's a lab, technician fees, which we don't have access to, and where the service is being done. So to have the procedure code, for instance, I can pull an estimate here at Student Health if it's something that we can do here. If it's lab related, it's almost impossible because we don't get the technician fees that are associated with that. But anything else, normally there's no charge. So at Student Health, we don't bill for anything unless it's lab, x-rays, or vaccines. They all get billed to the insurance, but to come in and to get a physical or well woman visit, to ask the doctors and nurses questions, to get checked for pink eye or strep throat. Hey, doc, I think I might need to get stitches or something like that. There's no charge for that. There's no copay. There's no co-insurance. We don't even bill the insurance for that. That is all part of the health fee. As far as the dental goes, the dental is not a mandatory thing. It is an optional thing. I know that they're currently working on the link for students to sign up for dental. Dental will go live again on July the 1st until I believe it's August 31st. The medical is a little bit longer. It's June 15th and it ends September the 15th for students that want to enroll or send their waiver requests in. Those are normally the questions I get. How much does something cost? When is the enrollment period? How do I enroll or waive? Which for that, you'll get an email at the start of the enrollment period that gives you the steps on how to go through and enroll or waive. But those are the three biggest questions that I actually have.
Thank you, Calvin. That's really helpful. We got a question here that's asking about consents. And the question is, what exactly is the consent to treatment from in their student health service portal? And should the student or the parents be the one signing it? Can you all give some insight into the consent to treatment? Got it, Ellen.
Sure. The consent to treatment form is a form that anyone who is seen at Duke Health, at any Duke Health facility, be that student health or Duke Urgent Care, the Duke ER, is asked to complete. And it's basically a form that gives us your consent to treat and your consent to bill your insurance company. If you are over the age of 18, you should sign and date the form. If you are under the age of 18, that should be your guardian that signs the form. It is not part of the immunization compliance requirement. It is linked in with it just because we thought it would be a good place to put it to get everyone's attention to fulfill the requirement, but it is not part of the immunization compliance requirement forms as far as the state goes. We do ask that everybody completes that before they get here because, again, that way we have that on file for you if you ever do need to be seen here.
Awesome. Thank you, Ellen. While we're waiting for the next couple of questions come in, and I see that our panelists are responding to some, so that's great. Lisa, I would love for you to give a little bit more time to your team in CAPS. I know that y'all are working hard on a variety of things, and you talked about what you're most excited about over the year. But can you talk about some of the things that you've looked to change that you think are going to make a difference for incoming students?
Yeah, we're doing a good bit of staffing changes and rearranging. So looking at getting a wider variety of staff and specialty areas. So we've got some folks on board coming on board in the fall who will be specializing in some of the anxiety disorders that we see a lot among students at Duke, like obsessive compulsive disorder and some of those kinds of things. We are bringing on an assistant director for communications and outreach that will partner with DuWell, but we'll have a lot more information out to students about mental health and mental well-being. A lot of students just need some support as they first get to college. It can be really nerve-wracking. Those first couple of 3, maybe 4 weeks that you're at school until you sort of get your bearings, and that's a very normal thing that happens. And so we'll be out and about on campus, I think, in much more than we have been, certainly since the pandemic, but before the pandemic too, because I think that that's a really important piece of this. Everybody does not need therapy to feel better. The therapy is here for students who do need it, but most all of us need support and assistance and ideas and thought, doing some critical thinking about how I can best make sure that I'm on level ground and that I'm able to do the things that I want to do and that I'm making relationships with people that feel good to me. And so those are the kinds of things that we're focusing on. And I think it's really cool that at Duke we get to do that because I think that, anytime that we're helping people be well is better than sort of dealing with someone when they're not well, which is a totally okay thing to do, but it's still prevention. What's the old saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so that's really where we're focusing a lot of our new efforts. So I appreciate that question because it's the fun part for us.
No, so I thought so. That's why I thought I would ask it, because I know your job can be a challenge, but right, there's a lot of positive things that come from it. So Amanda, for you, what I think is really unique about DukeReach is that you all get to see students in a variety of places, right? When they're doing well, when they're also managing challenges. Can you just give kind of a scope for us, some of the questions also that you all receive, and what are some of the ways that you all as a team look to triage some of those challenges?
Yeah, so sometimes we hear from students who are maybe struggling academically and are overwhelmed, maybe missed a class, something like that. So we would connect students with their professors, academic dean, academic advisor, academic resource center, all kinds of folks to help with kind of those academic situations. For mental health concerns, we would potentially connect students with CAPS. I'm a big advocate for the Koru mindfulness classes. I'm also a teacher for Koru. I love it. I think the skills that you learn are so great. And I think if you're able to take one of those classes your first year, you'll take those skills, for your duration at Duke and beyond. So I really encourage that. We get all kinds of things, but I think those are the two main ones and the kinds of folks that we would connect you with. Also, like if even for random things, like if you fell and hurt your ankle, we might connect you with student health, the disability office, just to help get some accommodations for you to get around. So really anything that happens or goes on and causes some stress or anxiety, we will kind of help get you connected. There's probably a resource at Duke to help with whatever it is.
That's great. I'm also a Koru teacher. I hosted a class on East Campus in Bell Tower in the Oasis for incoming first year students, and we had an absolute blast. So I co-signed the Koru teaching. Amanda, we should have taught a class together. That's a missed opportunity. That would have been fun. So a couple of questions have come in, so I do want to try to jump through some of these. So this one there was a good one about financial aid. Okay, I just got that one. So there's a question here about.
I'm sorry, Jordan, can I answer that real fast?
Yeah, that'd be
In case
great.
there's other students that might have the same question.
Sure.
For students that are on financial aid, there is a way to have financial aid assist you with funds for your Duke SMIP or student medical insurance policy. But there are criteria that have to be met. Now, if your insurance policy is a participating provider with Duke Health, financial aid will not assist. You are supposed to use your own personal insurance. If your policy does not meet the Duke Health waiver requirements and your waiver request is denied, financial aid will then be able to assist. But you would have to talk to your financial aid counselor about that first. I cannot tell you that financial aid will automatically do that. They have done it in the past, but like I said, it's a case-by-case basis. So you would have to reach out to your financial aid counselor to let them know that you're under Medicare, Medicaid, in your host state that's not North Carolina, which they don't have any benefits outside of their home state. If you're under an HMO plan that doesn't have benefits outside of the home state, and you're not eligible for a home away from home or guest membership policy, then financial aid may be able to assist. But like I said before, that is a case-by-case basis, and financial aid has to okay it. So I cannot do it for you. You would have to talk to your financial aid counselor and let them know that your policy is not going to meet the Duke Health waiver requirements and that you would need assistance, because per the state of North Carolina and the university, all students have to have medical insurance policy that participate with Duke Health, and that will cover the student for a variety of medical situations.
Thank you for that context, Calvin. And just so folks know, the financial aid team actually joined us for a webinar earlier this summer, a campus resources webinar. They have an amazing team that's ready to respond. So if you do have that question, just emailing the financial aid office. I think it's finaid@duke.edu, or going to their website. They'll respond to you as quickly as they can to get that question answered. So thank you for that context, Calvin. There's another good one that came in. It was, when does the health insurance form open? Can you address that, Calvin? I feel like it's kind of open now, but can you just talk through when, I guess this person's asking when they can submit their information for health insurance, or kind of what does that process look like?
That takes place next Wednesday, June the 15th until September the 15th. All insurance information submitted for waiver has to be within June the 15th through September the 15th, or the student is automatically enrolled into the medical insurance policy. please, please, please do not wait until the last minute to try to submit your information, because if it is denied, it doesn't allow you enough time to either A, seek new medical insurance, or B, to dispute why your insurance may have been denied. So the best thing I can tell you to do is submit your information as soon as you can. So that way you can get a response, or we can have the charge removed, or have time to call your insurance carrier to verify your insurance. So it gives us enough time to respond and react. Just keep in mind, like I said, we're down our dental coordinator, so I'm handling both medical and dental. So response time is not going to be as fast as it used to be, but we will get back to you in a timely manner.
Thank you, Calvin. And that team is great. Even if it's just Calvin right now, they'll get back to you as quickly as they can. So just so I understand this, Calvin, it's almost like the open enrollment period is June 15th through September 15th. Is that the best way to kind of think about it? Like that's your period to figure out your insurance components?
Yes, sir. That's it. It's June the 15th through September the 15th. The only time it's different if it's a student defers enrollment. A student says, I'm going to come in the fall, and then at the last minute for various reasons, whether it be visa issues, illness, family illness, or it could be financial, it could be anything that would prompt you to defer your enrollment until the spring. Then the spring enrollment would be your time period, which is November the 15th through January 31st. So those are the two open enrollment times. June 15th through September the 15th for the fall, and November the 15th through January 31st for the spring.
Awesome. Thank you, Calvin. And most of that should be available on the Blue Book site or on the student medical insurance site, right? So there's a couple of different ways and places you all can see that. So thank you. We got another quick question here, and it's about the proxy authorization. So the question is, when and where would they know about the proxy authorization form, or when would it be available? I don't know who the best person for that one is, but. Anybody know about the proxy form? Maybe not, that folks have to.
I don't know about the proxy form. I know the students can grant parents proxy access. I think they can do that through their Duke Hub, where they can allow the parents to be able to see their schedules, grades, and submit insurance waivers and things like that, and look at bursar statements. But that, to my knowledge, that's something the student has to grant access to for the parents. And then students can only grant full proxy, or they can grant partial proxy. So the last time I remember it, or the last thing I heard, is that the students can do that through their Duke Hub account. As far as the actual form that they can fill out, that part I'm not 100% sure on that one.
I'm sitting here with a colleague who said yes. So Calvin, you get an A for the day. That is the correct answer, and very good job, because I wasn't too sure about that one. So thank you. So another quick question: if the student or family buys medical insurance through Duke, when would the coverage start? I think you might be muted, Calvin.
Sorry. August 1st of 2022 through July 31st of 2023.
Great. And then does that have to, you have to redo that every year, Calvin? I think the answer is yes, but every year you have to resubmit information? Okay.
Yes, because the insurances change from year to year. So there may be some things that if you're submitting insurance for waiver, mom and dad may change insurance policies based on their jobs, or if they lose coverage, or if the insurance company changes something in the policy. I'll give you an example. We'll use COVID for an example. That was a one-off situation. So insurances had to make adjustments to combat issues with COVID, whether it be testing, whether it be hospitalizations, equipment that may have been needed. So there are going to be some adjustments based on situations that could change. Pharmacy benefits will change yearly. An insurance company may say, okay, a prescription medication that we used to cover, we're not going to cover anymore. So that can change things medically. So that's why the students have to submit waivers or re-enroll into the policy every year, because things may change. So that's the reason why it has to be submitted.
Great. continue to submit those questions. Thank you for getting them in. I saw one that was answered that I thought might be good to also answer live. And it was a question that came to Lindsay, Lisa, and Amanda. And I know you all typed the answer, but the question was about ways that students can get involved with your spaces. So I don't know if you all wanted to, I know that for some spaces that those opportunities are limited, but I do think it's a good thing for students to know how they can kind of get connected as they get ready to get started here at Duke. So maybe Lindsay, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I can pass it to Lisa. So we offer a number of student wellness intern positions. We post those applications to our website, so keep an eye on that. We'll also share those with our newsletter. But again, don't even worry about that newsletter for a while because you have other newsletters, but that's the best way. We also share a lot of information about our volunteer opportunities at Duke Wellness on Instagram. But in addition to the paid intern opportunities, our Moments of Mindfulness programs are almost exclusively offered by student volunteers who have some sort of skill that they want to share with the Duke community. So Community was founded and started by a student who is a certified tea master. So he offered his time and that became a club. Our knitting group is a student who has an interest in knitting and wants to teach other students how to knit. So if you have a special skill or talent, or maybe you don't, but you just want to maybe host one of these events, we are glad to work with you to help come up with an event that you might offer as part of Moments of Mindfulness. You can email DuWell at studentaffairs.duke.edu if you want to talk more about this. So that's just a kind of quick recap of some of our opportunities, but I'm really glad that you all are interested in working with us. I'll pass it to Lisa to share more too.
Yes, I love that so much. We don't have a formal program as yet, although I think you'll see that in the future at CAPS. But I am looking for graphic designers. So anybody who wants a little, little side gig doing some graphic design, hit me up via email. Shameless plug. Sorry, Jordan.
I'm sitting here smiling. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Amanda. That's it.
We also don't currently have any volunteer opportunities, but if you are part of an identity community or have an idea about a student group based on whatever experience you have, where we'd love to work with you on that. I know sometimes when we get a lot of concerns regarding the same topic area that we might not currently have resources for, we'll talk with students to ask what they would want to see on campus, and we would work with those students to kind of come up with something like that throughout the year.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Ellen, I tried to give you a breather. I know you had a marathon yesterday and you've got some questions today, but I got to come back to you for a couple of these. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
All right, so the first one is, if a student has already uploaded an immunization form and they were notified that they are missing one of the doses, and then they went to go get that dose, what should they do to re-upload the form with the additional dose? So they re-upload a whole new form, but just information about that one particular dose?
It's a great question. You can just upload the information about that one particular dose that you just received, and you upload it the same way you did your original forms. You go to the gateway and there's a button that says Immunization Requirements Form, and you click on that and there's an upload button and you can just submit your vaccines that way.
Perfect. All right, next one. It says, since there have been a couple of challenges with uploading and reporting the immunization information, if the mandatory information form for the TB form is signed by the physician and uploaded by June 15th, can they ignore the other comments as an IT issue?
I'm not sure I understand the question completely. If you have the TB screening questionnaire, you can upload that to the platform with your immunization records. We are hoping that everyone is in the system by now. There was some problems with everyone getting into our health system. The registrars completed their end of the deal yesterday, and everybody should have shown up in our system yesterday. So I hope by now that all of you are able to get into the Health Gateway and upload your documents.
All right, thank you, Ellen. One more that just came in. It says, if I am missing only one vaccine, can I get that shot and show proof on their yellow vaccination card, or do they need the doctor to sign it again?
we'll accept your yellow vaccination card as long as you send all the parts of it. So make sure you also sent the front page that has your name and date of birth on it. Any records that we receive, we really need to make sure it has two ways that we can make sure we're putting it in the right record. So make sure all the things that you send us have your name and your date of birth. So if you have your country's yellow vaccine card, just send the front page along with the page with the new vaccine on it.
Awesome. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left and our questions have kind of gotten to a good place here. So what I would love to do is kind of go around to all of our panelists and give them the opportunity to just kind of share one final piece, almost like one final thought as we get ready to move through the rest of the summer. So Calvin, I would love for you to go first, just some kind of final piece of information about insurance for everybody who's paying attention and still on the webinar today.
Please remember that the fall enrollment period begins June the 15th. That's next Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure what time the portal will open, but there will be a message that comes to you via your Duke email account with a copy of the billing statement, which is a snapshot of what you're going to be billed for the entire fall. That's before charges are removed off of the account. So you'll see everything that Duke is billing you for, everything down from room and board, meal plan, insurance, your health fee. Another thing too is don't get confused between insurance and health fee. They are two different fees. The health fee is what allows you access without insurance charge to DuWell, DukeReach, Student Health, and to CAPS. That is charged to all students that are living within a 50-mile radius of Duke's campus that are going to be attending classes on campus. If you are an online or distance learning student or studying abroad, those charges can be removed. School of medicine, school of nursing students that are in the hospital setting can also have that charge removed. Other than that, all of the other students will need to have that charge on their account. Please submit your information as soon as possible, so that way it allows us enough time to respond back to your messages. Like I said, it's only 2 of us that are doing insurance for medical and dental right now, so we're a little bit bombarded, but we will get back to you in a timely manner to answer all questions. The best way to get a faster response is please send an email. Our telephone lines are set up for messages to go from newest to oldest. So if you call and you're call number 1 and 50 people call after you, that means you're call 51, not call number 1. I have my email set up to go from oldest to newest. So if you send your email and then 50 people come after you, your email number 1. So please send your email to get a faster response. You can send that to the insurance mailbox. It's insurance@studentaffairs.duke.edu. And I'll repeat that one more time. insurance@studentaffairs.duke.edu. For questions involving dental, please reach out to the dental mailbox, which is another box that I'm monitoring. It's dental@duke.edu. So I will repeat that as well, dental@duke.edu. The dental enrollment is different from the insurance enrollment. Dental enrollment is July 1st to August 31st. Medical enrollment period is June 15th through September the 15th. Please do not go past that September the 15th deadline, because then you'll have that charge stuck on your account and I cannot waive you out of your insurance until at least the spring enrollment period. So please submit your information. And like I said, allow us time to get back to you. We will respond to all messages as fast as we can.
Thank you, Calvin. Lindsay, you got a question and you just posted something in the chat, so I'll let you go ahead and have the floor. Somebody just asked about where they can get involved, to email address for the wellness activities. And then if you have any other final pieces you want to share, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. In just a moment, I will post it in the chat as well. But it is DuWell@studentaffairs.duke.edu. You might notice a trend there. It's typically just the name of the office before @studentaffairs.duke.edu. So that can be helpful to remember. In terms of just sharing kind of a final piece of advice to you all. I would say come to the Wellness Center before you think you need it. There's a lot to be said for becoming comfortable and confident in a space. It can go a long way. We've got a beautiful art gallery, a piano, if you play or like to listen, a meditation garden. And so we hope that you'll come see it.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. I'm going to turn the floor over to Amanda. Amanda, what do you have for us as we get ready to conclude?
Yeah, I would just say it's never too soon to reach out. So if you're worried about something now or have any concerns and want to get connected to services so that they're in place before you get to campus, you can definitely reach out to us. And we are, just as all the other places, DukeReach@duke.edu.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat too. My mouse is being funny. All right, Ellen, we're going to turn it over to you before concluding with Lisa.
Sure. I know that this immunization process can be confusing and stressful. We are here to help you. Please direct any questions you have after this to immunizations@duke.edu, and we can stick that in the chat as well. We're here to help you through that. And I just would encourage all of you just to take advantage of everything that Duke has here to offer. I know you're primarily here to study and get your degree, but there's so many great opportunities for you to take advantage of, and we hope you enjoy it here. One last thing before I forget, if I didn't mention, the best way to pay attention to what's going on with your immunization records is to pay attention to the messages that we send you in your student health portal, and that is how we communicate with you.
All right, Lisa, the floor is yours. Dr. Adams.
Before we get to Miss Lisa, can I just add one quick thing, Jordan? I'm sorry, and then we'll let the star of the show close out.
Okay.
For the students listening, please, please, please check your emails from Ellen. You'll get emails from Ellen in your Student Health Gateway or from Ellen directly. And if we send you messages, communicated messages that are generated from the insurance department, please, please, please respond back to your emails or check your emails, because we can tell when you do not open the emails. Your emails are date and time stamped down to the second. So we know if you've opened the email or not, and we'll get a lot of students who will say, I didn't get it. Yes, you did. We can tell if you get it because it's date and time stamped. And we can tell when you don't open it because we will get a notification that says you have not opened the email yet. So please, please, please respond back to those emails. Don't ghost us. We're here to help you.
Thank you, Calvin. That was going to be my piece of advice too, is check your email. So now you've heard it 6 times, everybody. Check your Duke email. And Lisa, now the floor is yours.
Yeah, I want to say, you know, the last 2+ years have been really stressful. You guys have missed out on a lot of cool milestones in life, where things have been altered, and the world is a really difficult place right now. And on top of that, you're about to make this big, super exciting, but really big transition in life. And so be easy with yourself. Be easy, go easy with yourself, because this is really tough. And it's tough on your folks, and it's tough for you. And so just be easy, and also check your Duke email.
You're the best, Lisa. Listen, I cannot thank the panelists enough. You all did an amazing job. I know I really appreciate it. I'm sure our families and our students do as well. A couple of quick reminders for students. We have a couple of upcoming webinars. We've done the bulk of them for now. There's going to be one more pre-health advising webinar in June. And then we're going to have a couple of peer-to-peer connections webinars. It's going to be opportunities to meet orientation leaders, meet with transfer students, meet with our peer success leaders, meet with resident assistants, a variety of ways to connect with students here before you start at Duke. So be sure to sign up for those on the Blue Book website. Thank you all for all the great questions today. Thank you to the panelists for doing a great job. And if you have any other questions, copy those email addresses because folks are ready to respond. You all be safe. Check your Duke email and see you all soon. Bye-bye.